Be sure to join Fox Sports Radio's Basketball Playoffs Bracket Challenge. That's a mouthful. Presented by Wolf and Shepherd. Fill out a playoff bracket here at foxsportsradio.com, foxsportsradio.com, and compete against Fox Sports Radio hosts and fellow listeners such as myself and Rob. The listener in first place wins a $1,000 gift card. Fill out your bracket now until noon Eastern on Saturday and get official rules at foxsportsradio.com. It's the bracket challenge, and it's all presented by Wolf and Shepherd. All right, speaking of March Madness style, we are going back to that Lakers-Warriors game, which was tremendous. I think it was an instant classic. Great game. And the Lakers are won, of course, 103-100. But I'm going to say this and then turn it over to my partner. The best player on the floor last night was not LeBron James. He obviously came through with the big shot. It wasn't Anthony Davis, who had a nice second half. It was Steph Curry. He battled the two great Lakers largely by himself. Certainly if you're talking about superstars, offensive superstars. He went at it with them head-to-head and came up 3 points short. But there is no shame in that, unless you're looking at it from the viewpoint of Rob Parker.
Unless you're giving it an independent, real analysis, and you're not caught up because he's light-skinned and he just hurls three-point shots.
You
from
sound
everywhere.
like Kwame Brown.
I'm just saying.
Y'all color-struck brothers.
As always, Steph, at the end, first of all, he had 6 turnovers, which was just brutal. And he had a chance to put them ahead, right? They were up, was tied at 100. Steph Curry dribbled the ball off his leg. Who was that? Caruso? I mean, that's a play that shouldn't happen.
Good defense by Caruso.
Nah, you can't let that happen though. Steph Curry's supposedly a transcendent player.
Well, not
and
Caruso.
Caruso's just some guy they found off the street. You can't give up the
Why
basketball.
you dissing Caruso like that?
Because I'm just next to Steph Curry. That's what he is. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm just saying, if Steph Curry's that.
No wonder Kwame's upset.
Whatever. I'm talking basketball. All right. Then he can't do anything. LeBron has a shot over him, and then he can't get the inbounds. I don't know. Doesn't give himself enough separation to get the inbounds. I don't know what that was all about, but they still had a chance that where he could have tied the game. He probably would have missed a shot anyway because it would have been within the final 2 or 3 seconds. But I don't know. I just had what a bad. This was Steph Curry to me. This was kind of his team did all it could. He was outmanned, undersized. His team fought so much just to stay in the game. But in the last 3 minutes, turns the ball over at the 2:30 mark with the Warriors up by 3 points. That's a huge possession there, Chris. Misses an 11-foot jumper at the 2:15 mark. Made 2 free throws at 123. That tied the game at 100. As I said, he gave up the 34-foot shot 3 to LeBron at 58, and then the inbound. So he disintegrated. That team put him in position to where Steph Curry could have been that guy to say, my team battled all night, got me a nice big lead in the first half. What'd they leave at the half? By 12 or 13 points, which you knew was just a cushion because you knew the Lakers would come back. The Warriors should have been run out of the building. LeBron and AD and Schroeder, what they start, Chris? 2 for 27? Something ridiculous.
4 for 28 in the first half.
Huh?
They were 4 for 28 in the first half.
4 for 20. Okay, 4 for 28. But Steph wasn't there when they needed him at the end, and that turnover just kind of was the beginning of the end.
Rob Parker, that was an embarrassingly bad take. You sit here, you had the audacity to sit here and say, his team put him in position. They did it. And Steph wasn't there at the end. They put him in position. Jordan Poole and Mike Mulder and JTA, Juan Toscano Anderson, they did their part. Rob Parker, did you watch the game or just read the box score?
I watched every minute of the
Actually,
game.
I don't even think you read the box score.
I
Because
watched every minute.
Well, then how in the world can you come to any conclusion other than Steph carried them? I'll give you, he had some mistakes down the stretch. He definitely had too many turnovers. He and Draymond each had 6. They got sloppy with the ball. Steph gets sloppy with the ball at times. They're 28th in the league in turnovers. That's an issue. But to sit here and act like, to even try to get it past our listeners that the role players carried the Warriors, put them in position to beat the mighty LeBron and AD-led Lakers, I'll give the role players credit. Poole hit a couple big shots. So did JTA. Draymond played great defense. But Andrew Wiggins, I love Andrew Wiggins as a third scoring option, although he's the second one right now with Klay out. But there is one major reason they even had a chance to win this game. And that is because Steph Curry lit the game on fire. I mean, he was hitting 3-pointers with 1 and 2 dudes up in his grill. Did you see the move he put on Dennis Schroeder with the little crossover dribble on the right wing? I mean, my goodness, it was a freaking offensive clinic that Steph Curry put on.
Until it matters the most, and then he can't make those shots.
You know what? It wouldn't even matter if it wasn't for Steph Curry. That's the problem. You act like a game, instead of being 48 minutes, you act like it's 48 seconds.
No, that's not how I look at it.
If the brother doesn't ball for the first 40 minutes, 46 minutes, whatever, it don't matter what happens in the last 10 seconds.
It's about wins and losses. Steph is on the end of another loss. It's on another.
How many does he need?
Yeah, he doesn't have Kevin Durant. He doesn't have Kevin
Stop
Durant.
it.
That's why
Stop
he can't
it.
win at
He's
the
won
end.
a championship without Kevin
And that's
Durant.
why he can't
Kevin
get those
Durant
shots
hasn't won anything
and get
without
those
him.
looks that you're talking about when it matters at the end of the game because he's too small. And it's unbelievable because he's turned the ball over, and you've seen this. He did it in the finals in a big spot where he tried to do a behind-the-back dipsy doodle pass, which he threw out of bounds. I mean, all I'm saying is that ragtag Cosby Kids group of players were put together. Steph probably had 5 points. Rob G, what's the correct number in the first quarter? He wasn't even shooting, and they were in the game. Those other guys came to play. They gave Steph a chance. They gave Steph a chance to have the heroics, to pull it out. That's when I want to see Steph Curry at the end. The game was hanging in the balance, Chris. The game was there to be took.
Why was it in the balance, Rob?
No, forget about all that.
Oh, no,
at that point,
you can't just forget about
no, I'm
all
going to forget
that.
about it. At that point, the game could have been taken. He could have stole that game from the Lakers.
Forget about all that. Forget about the first 47 minutes of the game? Really? There was one main reason. I'm not going to disrespect the role players like you disrespecting Steph. You don't just get rid of the first 3 quarters, 4/5.
He didn't even play well in the first quarter, Chris. Stop it.
He played well in the second.
In the first quarter, he didn't. Did they have a lead after the first quarter?
And he played well in the first quarter.
What was the score? Steph had like 3 or 5 points in the first quarter.
So that means he didn't play well? He does other things. He actually
didn't play
had 7
that well
rebounds.
in the first quarter.
That's
no,
more than the Lakers' starting backcourt had in total.
He had a chance.
He rebounded the basketball.
To steal that game.
Rob, everything. Look, when Tim Tebow was a quarterback, and he was horrible for the first 3 quarters of a game, and then somehow, some way, he would rally teams in the fourth quarter and they'd win, his team. No, you didn't give him credit and say, wow, he just had done at the end. You looked at the full game, and that's correct. And I'm saying, I'll admit, Steph struggled down the stretch, fine. But to sit here and act like he had a horrible game
I didn't
when he
say
scored
that.
30.
Don't
No, let
put
me
words
finish.
in my mouth.
When he had 37 points.
He had 6 points in the first quarter, 2 for 5 from the field, and 2 turnovers. And then at the end of the game, when they needed him most, he turned the ball over.
In between that? He
turned the ball over when it mattered.
When did he score the 37 points?
I'm not saying he didn't score any points. When you have a guy like that, you need him to play big. You need him to play big and not turn the ball over and get the inbounds. He did, not when it mattered the most.
Didn't play
That's
big.
all I'm saying.
He didn't play big.
They could have stole that game from the Lakers.
My goodness. He shot 12 for 23. That's better than 50%. He hit 6 of 9 from 3 while being double and triple teamed all night against the best defense in the league.
That doesn't matter.
He didn't have an Anthony Davis to give him some buffer.
The score was 100-100. Despite all of that, the score was tied at 100, Chris.
Right.
It was still tied. They were up 3 with the ball. He turned the ball over. That turned the whole game. He could have put his team up by 6 or by 5. He turned the ball over. It was a crucial mistake.
My point, Rob, is that they wouldn't have even been in position to win
but
the
they
game.
were in position.
You don't care. Right, you don't care.
They were in position.
Take away his 37 points. Unbelievable. The rest of the team shot 25 for 60. You said it, the Cosby kids, ragtag bunch. That's who he carried to within 3 points of the defending champions.
Who played horribly for most of the game and gave them an opening. All we needed to do.
Now that counts.
All we needed to do was a chance to see Steph. And Steph was doubled 11 times in the second half, resulting in 4 turnovers, including the last play of the game. Okay?
You need to be wearing.
That's what he got.
You need to be wearing the hat I bought you for Christmas a few years ago. If I'm writing, I'm ripping. Because you ripped LeBron James for hitting the clutch shot.
I didn't rip him for hitting it. I did not.
And then because he didn't play well during the whole game. And then Steph Curry played well for most of the game, and you rip him for not hitting the clutch shot.
Steph also had 3 turnovers in the third quarter when they coughed up the lead.
How many points did he have in the third quarter?
I'm just telling you, he was sloppy with the ball. 6 turnovers is way too many.
Rob G, whisper that.
He ain't whispering in my ear. He don't even talk to me during the show. Rob G's not in my ear.
He's texting you.
He's not texting me.
You ain't come up, please. He's
these
emailing.
These are from my notes that I had while I was watching the game.
Yeah, all right.